Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish Academy, where our goal is to empower, educate, and elevate you to create a life that you love through the art and business of photography. In this video, we are going to look at the spot removal tool. But first, make sure you check out our sponsor, ymcamera.com, for all of your photography needs. In a recent video, I did a review of the ProMaster macro extension tubes, and as I was editing this photo, I noticed that I have some sensor dust in my camera, or possibly dust on the lens in the form of spots, so I want to take a look at that. But the first thing I did was apply Susie's favorite preset to this image. So here's the before, and here's the after. I'm going to access the spot removal tool by pressing Q on the keyboard. A couple of things to note about this tool. Obviously, you have the size of your brush, which you can make larger or smaller with this slider, as well as the bracket keys. The right bracket key will make it larger, and the left bracket key will make it smaller. We have the feather, that's the distance of the concentric circles, how close or far apart they are, and that just dictates how the pixels are feathered in the surrounding area. We have the opacity, which is how strong the effect is applied, and we have clone versus heal. Clone copies and pastes pixels, and the heal copies, pastes, and blends. Now, of course, what we can do is adjust our brush size, and let's start with this one. We could just click right here and allow Lightroom to select a source. Press H in order to hide the tool overlay, and you can see that Lightroom did a really good job removing that spot. But did you know that you can press A on the keyboard in order to visualize the spots? And it also has a slider. So as you pull up on the slider, you can see that those spots are becoming more visible, which is really interesting. So you can actually use this view to make your corrections. So I see these spots in the top. I can just click those, allow Lightroom to sample a source. And of course, I'm going to verify that those look right, but I'm going to do this one over here as well by clicking and dragging. Then I can press A again to remove the visualization, and I have my tool overlay set to auto, so those disappear as well. And I can take a look at the before and after. Now, isn't that interesting? Those spots at the top did not quite go away completely, even though I have the opacity set to 100. So let's try that again by clicking that selection, pressing delete or backspace. I'm going to click this one as well. And let's try that again just by clicking and dragging over both of them and see if we can't get rid of both of them at once. I'm going to drop that tool with a Q on the keyboard. That looks much better. There is the before and after. Before we move on to the next photo, I'm going to press K on my keyboard in order to reveal the adjustment brush. What I'd like to do is just add a little more light onto the center diamond of this ring. So I'm going to pull up on the exposure and the shadows, also on the clarity and sharpness, and I'm just going to brush over this area in order to enhance it a little bit further. And I'm never quite sure exactly where I want these sliders to be, and it looks like I gave that just a little bit too much light. So let's pull down on that exposure and pull up on the clarity and the sharpness, and we can turn that adjustment off and then on just by clicking the switch at the bottom of the panel, and I think that that looks really good. Let's press K in order to drop that tool and move on to this senior photo. So when the spot removal tool was introduced into Lightroom, it was indeed for removing spots. But as photographers, we're a clever bunch, so we started to use it for other areas in the photograph. I am going to press Q in order to grab that tool. I'm going to press A to visualize spots, and then I'm going to zoom in on this image with a Command or Control plus, and I'm going to adjust this slider until I see if there are any spots or blemishes on his face that I would like to remove, and I do see a few. So let's make this brush a little bit smaller with the left bracket key, and what I'm going to do is wherever I see a spot that I think is probably a blemish, I'm just going to start clicking and brushing over those a little bit to see if I can remove them. Let's press A to turn that view off and take a look at the before and after. I had also applied Susie's preset to this image before beginning, but you'll see that I did remove quite a few of those blemishes just using the Visualize Spots tool, which I find very useful because a lot of times it reveals spots that you did not see previously. We'll zoom out really quickly and just take a look at that overall before and after. Again, that's with the preset and the spot removal tool. And one last image, we'll zoom in. We'll press A in order to utilize this feature, and we'll just start clicking on these areas that we believe to be blemishes. And if it's not a blemish, that's fine. You can always remove any of these pins once you've added them. I'm just clicking all around to see if I can get rid of any of those blemishes. Then I will press A on the keyboard and take a look at the before and after. I see a few more that I missed, but in no time at all, we can remove those blemishes very easily. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.